Hi there guys, it's Joel here from Aussie Chart Trends. Today's market update is for Thursday the 4th of October 2012. Today's update, we're going to be checking out the smp500 firstly, and we're going to take a look at the asx200. But before we do that, I've just got to remind everyone that aussiecharttrends.com.au and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as any form of investment advice. I'm not a licensed professional. You need to make your own decisions regarding your investments. I'm just here to help anyone searching for a practical direction in today's markets. Firstly guys, I'm going to be doing an update on the S&P 500, and this is a chart going all the way back to early June 2012. And as you can see, we've got these two blue lines drawn on the chart, one here on the bottom and another one here at the top. Now we've been saying that this market looks as if it's coming up in a rising wedge pattern, and we knew that this candlestick here, where the market overextended itself, was due to Ben Bernanke's speech, and that could have wavered the technicals a little bit. But there's also the case that we're rising up in just a standard channel. Now I'll go into that in just a moment. Firstly, I'd like to explain there's actually three main patterns on this chart that I'd like to talk about today. If we just zoom the chart in a bit, and I'll firstly go into the bearish patterns, and then I'll give you guys the bullish case also. If you've been watching my videos, you'd know for some time now that we've been watching this red neckline here around 1400 area. Now we've been saying that this looks like a left shoulder, a potential head, and we may have a potential right shoulder forming. Now that is all potentials at the moment, but if we actually focus on the second pattern, which I'm just about to discuss, you'll notice that I've changed this support line from yellow to red. The reason being is I'm thinking that this is now a potential neckline to an even smaller head and shoulders top. As you can see, we've got a left shoulder over here, a head, and a right shoulder potentially forming. Now, if we just zoom the chart in here a little bit, the third pattern that I want to discuss is this little pattern here, where we potentially have a left shoulder here, a head, and maybe a right shoulder forming. And you can see here the markets yesterday, they briefly breached this area, but we had another area of support here that just was able to push that market back up and close back above this area. As you can see though guys, that's the bearish case, that if we do come down and we break this yellow line, we may be looking at a move down to this red line or this blue line, and then we would be looking at a minimum expected target from this head and shoulders topping formation. Now if I just measure the depth of this pattern and we just add that on to where the neckline is, and say that the market breaks down just over here somewhere, the target from this pattern here actually exceeds this red line here, which is our potential neckline to our even larger head and shoulders pattern. If this area was to actually bust down, we could be in for a fairly big sell-off. Now, where would we sell off to if this red line was to break straight away? Well, if the 1400 area on this red line didn't hold, we'd probably most likely come down to the 1330s, and it would be a fairly large sell-off. In fact, that would be a roughly 100-point sell-off in the market. So that, I'm sure that would have an impact on the asx200 also. So that's something to keep in mind. And because we are at this juncture now, guys, so for the bullish pattern, if we just move this line out on this chart and zoom the chart in, here's our blue line up here, and what we do is just extend this trend line here, and you can see that the market's just got over it in last night's trade, but we didn't close over that level. Guys, if we close over this line and significantly take out the last high here at around 1460 or 1465, I would say then that this market will just keep going on up, and this was just a continuation pattern. So it's a clear fight now between the bulls and the bears, and we'll know within the next 2 days which way that this market is going to go, either down or we're going to get that break to the upside. So it's always good to have a balanced viewpoint of the bullish patterns and of the bearish patterns also. And I guess my goal of doing these videos is to be as constructive as possible. I don't want to come out with bear calls all the time. I also certainly don't want to come out with bull calls all the time. I'm just trying to read the market for what it is, and hopefully you guys can make up your own decision at the end of the day, and hopefully you can draw to your own conclusion as far as your own investments. Okay, so that's fairly much a wrap for the S&P 500. For the bear, if we break this area here, look out. If we break this area here, well, I'll be happy to continue to be long in the asx200. So speaking of the asx200, let's go take a look. Looking on the daily time frame here, we can see that today's close, we closed up around 13 or 14 points at the end of the day. So it was a fairly nice day on the markets again. We didn't have a strong day, we didn't have a weak day, but it was a good day overall. Let's go take a look at the support and resistance areas for the asx200. On the hourly chart here, it looks as if the asx200 is just hugging this red line here. We've gotten over it eventually, and we've come back down, briefly breached it, and we've just sort of travelled up to sideways the entire time. So guys, what can we expect from this market? Well, looking at this little area here, just in the short term, if we just draw a trend line underneath these bottoms here, and we just extend this line out, we can see roughly, if we just draw another line over these two tops, that we're probably looking at a little triangle pattern, and this can either break to the upside or the downside, and we'll probably be looking either an attack on this yellow top line here, or we might be looking to go back down and test this yellow line here of support. Now the good news is, guys, the asx200 has a lot of support areas just down in this cluster here, and I will endeavour to extend these lines out. But as you can see, if we do get that pull down, I would expect that one of these areas down here would hold the market up. But if we get that break up to this yellow line, well, it'll be interesting to see if the asx200 can get over this area around the 4,480 area. So things are looking fairly bullish for the asx200. We just need to carefully monitor the S&P 500 because, guys, there's not a lot of support underneath the S&P 500 right now. And I'd feel bad if I didn't put the warning out to everyone today about that market. It's not to say that their market won't rally on up and get up into the 1500s. As we all know, it's QE3, which equals money printing for the United States. That could lead to a bullish move up into the 1500s, and it could send our markets well and truly up. And if we have a look on the daily chart, the asx200 has been able to break through areas of resistance, come back down and cleanly backtest them a number of times. And we're at a point now where we're fairly much in a place where we could easily head on up to around that 4,500 area. So let's just see what happens out of the S&P 500 in the next couple of days. If they do get a bullish move, well guys, 4,500 area will definitely be the next target. And we may even get up to the apex of this rising wedge pattern before we find any area of resistance. If you find these videos of any benefit, all I ask is that you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, pop past the website at aussiecharttrends.com.au. Feel free to sign up to the newsletter, and you'll receive emails off me on a weekly basis, and also go to the forum and check out the articles if you wish. Also, for my subscribers, on the weekly review, my videos are posted on this website over at tradingforblondes.com.au. You'll find a good read there. You can learn about options, and there's a few resource tools here. You can sign up to the newsletter there also. Feel free to pop over at tradingforblondes.com.au. Alright guys, I'll be back on Saturday for the weekly review. Thanks for watching.